So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Planets Through Ascendant series of the week. And today we're going to be covering Moon in the 7th house for Leo Ascendant people, as in what happens when Moon is in the 7th house in the sign of Aquarius, while it rules the 12th house with the sign of Cancer. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular Moon, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the other astrological details. For that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where I pretty much teach you astrology as deep as possible from my experience, from my teachers and gurus. So, anyway, Moon in the 7th house. So, 7th house can represent truckload of things. I mean, each house can represent 60, 70 things. On a basic level, 7th house represents marriage, relationships, your opponents, business, promotions. It represents foreign journeys, foreign settlements. So that's like the most basic nutshell of the 7th house. But 7th house can, represent just from simple household item to mirrors. 7th house, can represent a kitchen. Kitchen is actually 7th house. It's truckload of things, like I said. But here, you have the 12th Lord Moon, okay, in the sign of Aquarius. And it is said in Phaldipika that when Moon is in Cancer, it behaves, when Moon is in Aquarius, it behaves like it's in Cancer. Okay, so Moon's gonna have this very Cancerian feel, because the thing is, Aquarius is a sign of doing things for society. It's giving yourself to a large group of people. It's regarding, protest and activism, social reform, any kind of a committee. So if you're gonna be any part of that, that means you got to have some emotion inside you to wanting to do things for the world. So that's what Moon does in Aquarius. But what happens is there's a scenario playing out. 12th Lord is in the 7th house. 12th house represents, again, foreign lands. 12th house represents spirituality, bed pleasures. 12th house represents expenses. Also represents all kinds of losses. Okay. And again, 12th house itself can represent 40, 50 different things. But here what happens is, due to this concept of 12th Lord being in the 7th house, first of all, shows clearly that a person will be getting a spouse from foreign lands, from foreign origins. Even if they're from your homeland, they could be born in a foreign place. You could be born in Delhi and you could marry somebody who's born in Chennai. That's a foreign spouse, because Delhi is a completely different culture, religious wise, spiritual wise, language wise, entertainment wise. And Chennai is a completely different world. Like South India is like, I feel like it should be just a different country by itself. So it's a foreign thing. And I've seen quite a few actually cases with the same scenario. Because nowadays, a lot of people are in IT companies in foreign lands, IT companies in, let's say in Tech Mahindra. You got a person from Chennai, or you got a person from, Bangalore. You got a person from Delhi working there. They meet, they find this, commonality. They start liking each other and they get married. It's a very common thing now for North and South to marry each other. Actually, one of my close friends, she's a very sweet lady. Her husband is South Indian, and she herself is a Punjabi. I think I know, she might know, she might be watching this, because she watches all my videos. She actually came even to my house with other astrologers. She hung out here. So, all these scenarios play out very simply. But what also happens with a certain scenario, because of the Moon, person may feel loss of emotions in the marriage. They may not feel that emotional connection unless the spouse and the person themselves have a very similar agenda. And usually what happens is this is a person is extremely eccentric. Extremely eccentric when it comes to relationship and marriage and business. They take an approach which is completely outside the social norm. And no, you don't have any involvement of Rahu or anything else. But the thing is, Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Rahu. So any planet sitting in Aquarius will have a foundational quality of Saturn and Rahu. It's like a planet was born in the house of Saturn and Rahu. Sure, Saturn and Rahu are not there, but it's born in their culture. It's born in their environment. And that's why they become very eccentric with things. Usually this person seeks bed pleasures. For them to experience unorthodox bed pleasures is what gets them going. For example, instead of having just a normal sexual encounter, they want to play role play during lovemaking. They want to do, they want to play like dominatrix. I mean, I've seen it all, and it's nothing unusual, awkward. Shit, I love experimenting during sex. Of course, it's awesome. It's great. If you're with your partner and they have the same zeal and drive as you, why not? But usually this person brings a very scientific approach to relationship and marriage. And usually you got to understand this, moon is here. Moon represents you, right? It represents your mind, but it's in the 7th house. It is going to show the innate quality of your spouse as well. So both of you are kind of very outward, but usually they're not in the same direction. One could be having awkwardness on this side, you could be having awkwardness on this side. And that's where it kind of becomes eccentric to deal with the marriage. And usually a person, especially due to loss of relationship, usually you will find this, a person usually, once they break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, they can use substances, especially alcohol. And one of the things you will also see with this is that such a person loves to spy on their spouse. Due to insecurity, they like to make sure who are they talking to. They like to check their cell phones. They want to check their emails. They want to make sure that, hey, I am secure here. Because here, again, moon is vulnerable. Why is moon vulnerable? Because moon in Aquarius behaves like Cancer. Cancerian moon is very moody. Very moody, all kinds of mood swings happen, and they create like this particular moon thinks constantly about every little thing. Because like I said, this is a very scientific mind. A scientist has to constantly think. They might be working on this one small little equation, but they'll think 24/7 for 2 years on this one small equation to come up with some answer. They don't care for the money. They don't care for the fame. They don't care for recognition, because they are looking for answers. And so what happens is, here a person will seek constant answers in a relationship. Now, one thing we see though is that such a person usually will do excellent in business. They become clever in business. They know how to sell things in business. Now, usually, nowadays I find a lot of people going into technology. A lot of people going into even like chemicals. But again, for that, it's all the other planets have to support. I mean, you can find a moon Aquarius with an activist lawyer. Like I had an environmentalist lawyer in New York who had this particular position. But of course, the other planets were supporting them. Their dharma, their artha was clearly showing, fighting for something. And fighting for something with documents. So who fights with documents? It's a lawyer in the courtroom. The other thing we also see is such a person wants not religious, but spiritual knowledge in the marriage. They want to know things beyond the realm of just some religious book. These people, usually you'll find moon in Aquarius they're not, they will question things. They will be like, and they will not just go by what is written, because remember, it's a scientific mind. They want to explore things. And usually such people love taking vacations. The more you take your spouse on vacations, the more you go on vacations, the better the mind feels, because you are supporting the sign of Cancer when you go on vacation. Like moon feels like it is going back home when you go on vacation. So it's a quite a interesting and eccentric position of the moon here. But usually, there could be very awkward circumstances too during marriage. Like a person may even want to just get married in courtroom. A person wants to get married in some faraway beach where barely anybody can find the ticket and come for the wedding. But the main thing you want to know is just it's a position where you and your partner, it's not going to be just a normal marriage and a normal partnership. There's going to be a lot of eccentric adventures that you're going to experience. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis of moon in the 7th house for Aquarius or for Leo ascendant. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these videos. And again, if you want to know where your moon is, all the other astrological details, books, reports, consultations, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later.